gonna make a series out of this. Well, we're back. Oh, I also got a new avatar accessory, so expect it to change soon. I'm not gonna guarantee keep my profile picture the same forever. You know it would be really hard if I did it. All the way up there. I'm trying to build it. Oh, also, kinda get it off cheap. So basically, just try to make it fully like this whole entire place. We're doing pretty good so far. Eleven, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So there's 20 in it. So that means 20, 40, 60, 80. And then how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 88, basically. If you can't make the first one, I'm gonna make a little thing for like people who are like, who have a wheelchair. I'm gonna make a little thing that goes like this for them, so they don't have to like, they can grab onto the ice and then they can go up and use the obby, a wheelchair like me. I'm kind of like, shopping cart wheelchair. Wheelchair people. Very easily. You have to be very close to it. Like, look at this, bro. You gotta be very pro. You know how much pro you have to be? There's a lot of space between these jumps. Right here, if you let it go, you're good. And there's a checkpoint here. Now, brother, if you go down, brother, you have to descend there. And then from there, you see this block. Now, it's going to be it will be very hard, but even if you do flip, you will kind of right under the that bush block right there, that bush block right there, this one, yeah, right under that bush block is a window, so you don't get pushed all the way down. Now, since I can't go all the way up there when I'm there, so we're just gonna do that. Okay, I did my part in here. Can I go to mm2 now? Alright, one more. Oh wait, it's about to restart. We gotta get all these caps. I haven't glazed the caps by right now. Oh, they have stretch balls. They have stretch balls. Okay, next one. Next, restart. Whatever. We got keycaps. We got glazed keycaps. Well, I'm trying to buy a glazed keycap, bro. Bro. We're about to make this hat. Oh, wait, come back. And now we officially have 103 keycaps, making me $103. Satisfying to go up, zoom in, bang. Bro, no, we're not doing Brookhaven, we're doing mm2 and Parkour, bro. This is my series, not yours, yo. 7 o'clock already? I don't know I'm gonna put the last one. I'll put it right here. Oh my god. Oh my skibbity wonka bop bop. Wait, can I just get rid of I want to get rid of these useless ones right here. I was trying to make a full glaze keycap thing here. We're gonna keycaps right here. And we gotta put the glazed ones. Glazed donut. Yes, slay. And the glazed ones make 10 a second, so they're making like total. Okay. Oh, we gotta move on to mm2. I forgot. I was about to end the video. Alright. There's a tower too. Parkour, good luck trying to get up. And if you do, you're gonna break, bro. You really gotta lock the skin. Hey, I don't know. You should be doing. Oh, is that the merchant? What do you got, son? But just in case the brokies, I mean the pay to win. Unless you have to. Oh wait, someone's trying out my obby. Hold on. Let me show them the actual obby. Here we go. The actual obby. You like what you see? Bro, that's not the obby. The obby's here. Hey, yo, chill. You're beating my obby too fast. Yo, I'm not gonna let that slide, son. Fuck! The great rage bait of China. Fuck. We're bridging. We're bridging, chat. We're bridging. Hey, don't go yet. We're bridging. Okay, now you can go. Deluxe onion, right? Oh, it's right here, bro. Rage bait. And then imagine we just leave.
Shows up at the school with Ms. Haynes and they pull me out of class to a private office. Natalie introduces herself and explains that she's my lawyer, that anything I tell her is confidential unless I'm in immediate danger, and that her only job is to make sure the court knows what's really happening and what we need. She asks me to describe a typical day in my house, and I start with the morning foraging routine. And once I start talking, it's like something breaks open inside me, and the words just pour out. I tell her about the tire rubber that Dad makes us eat and how he says it's just processed tree sap. I tell her about the grass and the beetles and how we're not allowed to have real food because Dad thinks grocery stores are scams. I tell her about the dirt punishment from last week and how my body hurts all the time from being hungry. Natalie takes notes without acting shocked or disgusted. She just listens and asks specific follow-up questions about dates and details and who was present for different incidents. She asks if I have any evidence, and I tell her about the envelope I hid in locker 247, and she writes down the location and says she'll make sure it gets retrieved properly. By the time the interview ends, I feel lighter and heavier at the same time. Lighter because someone finally knows the truth, but heavier because now there's no going back. When I get home from the school that day, the house feels different, like something shifted while I was gone. Dad's face is tight and angry in a way I haven't seen before, and he calls a family meeting in the living room where he makes us all sit on the floor while he paces. He tells us that the lawyer lady who talked to me at the school has been calling his phone and leaving messages, and she refuses to let him be present for any more conversations with us. His voice shakes when he says the word refuses, like he can't believe someone would dare tell him no.
Oh, sorry guys.
Is trying to bring his own children against him. How they're poisoning our minds with
Alright, we're doing MM2 now.
Okay. Mom sits in the corner looking small and scared, and Luna keeps her eyes on the floor. I don't say anything because I know that speaking up right now would make everything worse. But inside I feel this weird calm because I know that Dad losing control means the system is actually working. He spends the next hour calling Natalie's office over and over, demanding to speak to her.
The big
Leaving
round.
long messages about his parental rights. When she finally calls back, I can hear her voice through the phone, calm and steady as she explains that her job is to represent what's best for us kids, not what he wants. She tells him she's legally allowed to interview us privately, and his attempts to interfere are being documented in the case file. Dad's face goes red and he starts yelling about government overreach before hanging up, and I can see his hands shaking as he puts the phone down. The next morning, Dad announces that we're not going to the school anymore. He says we need a family reset to reconnect with our natural lifestyle without outside interference, and he's starting our official homeschool curriculum today. None of us are allowed to use phones or computers, and we can't even close our bedroom doors anymore because he says we need total family openness. I know immediately that this is because the school people have been watching us and reporting things, and Dad's panicking because he's losing control of who we talk to. Luna and I exchange looks across the breakfast table where we're eating boiled grass.
Every single time I'm recording, one of my friends joins me for no damn reason.
Over us constantly, watching everything we do. He makes us write essays about how healthy we feel and how grateful we are for our natural diet.
I swear, every single game, it's either someone joining you, someone joining you, your friend joining you, friend joining you, someone joining you, friend joining you, join.
At night, I try to tap our code on the wall to Luna,
Leave
but I'm too
me
scared Dad will
alone.
hear. So I just lie there staring at the ceiling and counting the hours until someone realizes we've disappeared from the school. The next day is the same, and the day after that. We forage and write essays and eat grass while Dad lectures us about food. Someone talking about accelerating our homeschool.
I just got sheriff. Oh shit! Yeah!
School look official and planned instead of what it really is, which is him hiding us from the people who are trying to help. What I don't know is that while Dad's keeping us locked down at home,
I'm a
things are moving
bad
forward without him. The CPS worker files paperwork with the court requesting an emergency hearing for a court order that would let them enter our house without warning. The petition includes all the medical records from Noah's
I just heard a kill.
the photos the school nurse took of my bones sticking out, the notes from Natalie's interview with me, and a detailed argument about how Dad's pattern of
I just saw the murder.
kids creates a serious risk. The petition says that Dad's increasing isolation of us and his refusal to cooperate means evidence could be destroyed, and we could be harmed further before the normal
Oh, I did it!
Luke reads through all the documents and signs an order scheduling an emergency hearing for 3 days from now. The court sends notice to Dad's address, but he doesn't check the mail because he's too busy controlling every minute of our days, so he has no idea what's coming. On the 4th day of being trapped at home, I make a decision. I tell Dad I need to go to the school to drop off the homeschool paperwork he's been filling out, and I promise I'll go straight to the office and come right back. He's suspicious.
No
at
way,
first,
I just hit a
but he's
trick
also
shot on the
desperate to make
murder.
homeschool thing look
I didn't
official.
even see what I was doing. I just shoot and it says victory on my screen.
But instead of going to the school, I go straight to Natalie's office downtown. My hands shake as I push open the door.
Why
Because my voice comes out too quiet the first time. I walk into Natalie's office, she looks surprised to see me, and I don't waste time explaining. I pull out the sealed envelope I've been hiding in my backpack lining. The one with the
No way, I got it 2 times in a row. Best sheriff ever. Best day ever.
The other evidence I hid in
Yep.
locker 247 at the school, behind the broken vent cover in the abandoned hall.
Alright, who wants to
She
die?
opens the envelope carefully and spreads everything out, reading through
hell
my
no.
notes with this focused expression.
Nope.
Then she tells me to leave
Damn.
and she leaves the room, coming back 5 minutes later with copies of everything. She puts the originals in a file folder and hands me back the copies, and she looks me right in the
Get
eyes
the
and says,
fuck away
I
from
just
me.
gave her exactly what she needs to prove
Get
this
the
case.
fuck
She
away
asks if
from
I'm
me,
safe
yo.
going home, and I smile and say yes, because I know if I tell the truth about Dad's lockdown, she'll have to report it immediately, and I need a little more time to figure out my next move. I take the homeschool paperwork and actually go to
Come
the school
closer.
office to drop it off like I promised. And then I go home before Dad notices I've been gone too long. That night, I wake up to voices downstairs and I creep to the top of the stairs to listen. Dad's on the phone with
please
someone
don't tell
and
me
he's
my
talking
friend
about
is the
Montana,
murderer.
about his brother's place where we could stay for a while until things calm down. He says the CPS investigation
Are you the
can't
murderer?
follow us across state lines, and we just need
Please
to disappear for a
don't
few
tell
months
me
until
that.
the case gets closed for lack of evidence. He's making actual plans, talking about leaving in the middle of the night
Wait,
before
is
the
he?
next scheduled home visit, packing only
Who
what we
is
can
the
fit in the
murderer?
car. I hear him say we'll pull out tomorrow night, that he's already told Mom to start gathering our important documents.
Who wants to die?
My heart starts racing
Come
because I
close.
realize that if he succeeds, we'll vanish into some remote place where no one is watching.
Everybody get away. Get away, yo.
So much worse without any witnesses. I have maybe
I swear,
24 hours to do
if my
something before we're
friend
gone
slits
forever.
my
I
throat,
creep back to my room
that would
and
be
lie
the
awake
worst
the
day
rest of the
ever.
night trying to figure out what to do.
Get the fuck away from me.
By morning, I know I have to call for help, even though I'm terrified of what will happen if Dad finds out.
Get the hell away from me, yo. Why are you guys following me, yo?
I tell Mom I'm going to the library to get books for homeschool, and she's so distracted with packing that she
Why
just
y'all
nods.
always following
I
me?
walks to the public library and go straight to the bathroom where I lock myself
Holy
in a
rage
stall.
bait.
My hands shake so hard I can barely pull out the social worker's card I've been hiding in my shoe, and I have to dial the 911 number 3 times because I keep messing up. When the dispatcher answers, I force myself to speak clearly, even though my voice is shaking. I tell her that my father is planning to take me and my siblings out.
Okay, I hope we get murderer next round. Who was the murderer, though?
And I need help right now. She asks for my name and address, and I give her everything, and she tells me to stay on the line while she sends someone. I can hear her typing and talking to other people, and she keeps asking me questions about whether I'm in immediate danger or my siblings are.
Okay, what is
I
my
tell
friend
her we're all
doing
at home
with
except
it
Noah
then?
is still in the hospital.
Yo!
And she says officers
Did
are
you
being
see
sent to
that?
my address right now.
She
tells
has
me to go home
she
and
has
stay calm
this
while help is coming, and I hang up and run back to my
Hello?
house before Dad wakes up from dinner. I get
Sword?
back just as he's coming downstairs
Get her?
and asks where I've been. The library books I grabbed on my way out.
Kill that bitch.
Satisfied. An hour later, there's a loud
Kill
knock
that
on the
bitch.
front door. Dad answers it, and I see 2 police officers and the CPS
Behind you, yo. Behind you, yo. Oh, almost hit her head. Come on, friend. I know you're a hero. Come on, lock in. Come on, get the hero music. Go, go, go. And hold on. Let him cook. Hold on. Oh, waiting. Oh, no. She's the murderer. She's literally the murderer. Did it time her now? What the f? Okay, I guess innocents win because you didn't make a move to kill anyone. So, I mean, the hero and the innocents won technically because the murderer never actually killed anyone.
Everything is natural and healthy, that we're just living ancestrally. But the officers
I just wanted the hero, aka my friend who picked up the gun from me, to shoot someone.
worker pulls me and Luna aside and asks us direct questions about the Montana plan and whether we feel safe at home. Luna starts crying, and I tell the truth about everything.
Yo, my luck is insane today. Like, imagine I get murdered.
And Dad planning to take us away tonight. The worker makes some
I
phone
jinxed
calls
it.
and then
I
she comes
jinxed
back
it
and
too
tells us
hard.
that based on the evidence of ongoing harm.
What's the Oh, I thought that.
Luna and I need to pack a bag with whatever we want to take. Dad thinks it's when he hears this, screaming about government kidnapping and his parental rights. But the police
Wow. I'm scared. I scare you. I'm just gonna hide the whole game. Oh shit. He was a holy misdeception, bro. Something told me I should have run. Okay, I'm gonna go kill myself. Nah, just kidding, lol.
Familiar streets towards somewhere unknown. The foster home is in a neighborhood that looks normal, with houses that have real grass lawns and cars in driveways. The CPS worker walks us to the door, and a man named Max answers, and his wife comes up behind him smiling gently. They're both calm and patient as they show us our rooms, which are small but clean with actual beds and dressers. Max explains the house rules about mealtimes and chores and bedtime, and his wife shows us where the bathroom is and how to work the shower. I can barely process anything they're saying because my brain feels fuzzy and overwhelmed, like I'm watching everything happen from far away. They give us each a welcome basket with basic toiletries and some snacks, and Max's wife says we can eat whenever we're hungry, and there's always food in the kitchen. That night, a nurse comes to do our intake medical exam, checking our weight and height and looking at our teeth and skin. She draws blood for labs and asks questions about our medical history, writing everything down in a chart. When the results come back a few days later, they confirm what everyone already knows, that we're really malnourished with dangerous deficiencies in basically every vitamin and mineral. A doctor named Layla Pacheco gets assigned to our case, and she creates a careful refeeding plan that starts with small amounts of easy-to-digest food like broth and crackers, and slowly increases over weeks to include more variety and bigger portions. She explains that our bodies need time to adjust to real food again, and eating too much too fast could actually make us sick. My first night in the foster home, I try to sleep in the actual bed, but it feels too soft and exposed, like I'm floating in space with nothing to hold on to. I end up pulling a blanket off the bed and curling up in the closet with the door half open, and that feels safer somehow. Before I go to sleep, I take the granola bars from the welcome basket and hide them under the mattress, even though I know there's a full kitchen downstairs with food I'm allowed to eat whenever I want. Years of food scarcity have rewired my brain into constant hoarding mode, where every bit of food needs to be hidden and protected in case it disappears. Around 2 in the morning, I wake up to the closet door opening wider, and Max's wife is standing there in her bathrobe, looking concerned but not mad. She doesn't make me feel weird about sleeping in the closet or ask a bunch of questions about why I can't use the bed. She just sits down on the floor nearby with her back against the wall and starts talking quietly about how the house is safe and no one will take my food and I can eat whenever I'm hungry. She tells me about the other foster kids they've had over the years and how everyone needs different things to feel okay, and sleeping in closets is actually pretty common. Her voice is calm and steady, and after a while I feel my body start to relax, and eventually I fall asleep with her still sitting there keeping watch. The next morning, Keith comes to the foster home and tells me the social worker has a supervised phone call with Mom for that afternoon. I spend the whole day nervous and jumpy, not knowing what to expect or what she'll say to me. When the time comes, I sit in Keith's office at the TV building with him right there listening, and the phone feels heavy in my hand as I dial the number they gave me. Mom's voice comes
You're
through
gonna
the
kill
line,
me.
sounding calm
Please,
and
no.
not angry or desperate like I thought she'd be.
I don't want to die.
She says she's glad we're
I don't wanna
safe
die.
and that she hopes we're eating
I don't
well
want to
enough,
die.
and her tone is so normal it throws me off completely. I wait for her to apologize or admit that what happened was wrong, but she doesn't say any of that. She also
Who
doesn't
got
defend
killed?
Dad or beg me to come home or
Damn.
tell me I betrayed the family. She just asks basic questions about how Luna and Noah
Please,
are doing,
no one come
and
up.
whether the
No.
foster parents
I'm
are treating
good.
us okay.
I don't like people. If I go this way, there's people, but if I go that way, there's people. So where do I go?
When I hang up after 10 minutes, I feel more confused than comforted, because
Nope.
I don't know what to do with a mom
She's a
who sounds
murderer.
relieved but won't actually acknowledge the
She's a
truth.
murderer.
Keith sees my face and suggests we talk about what happens next. So we move to a different room with more comfortable chairs.
I don't feel
He sits down
comfortable.
across from me and explains the whole court process step by step, walking me through
Who
how
has
there
it
will
done?
be hearings where a judge decides what's best for us kids. He tells me I might have to testify and describe what happened at home, and that Dad and Mom will have chances to present their side of the story too. He explains my
Someone's
rights and
hiding behind
options,
you.
like how I can have a lawyer just for me who represents what I
Bro.
want, and how the court will consider my wishes since I'm 15. Having all this information laid out clearly makes everything feel slightly less scary, because at least I know what's coming. Keith is honest with me in a way that feels respectful, not like he's trying to protect me from reality. He says the goal is safety first, and
Please,
then figuring out what kind of family
don't kill
reunification
me.
might be possible if my parents.
I'm trying to hide behind the sheriff because I'm pretty sure that she's the
But
sheriff.
he's also honest that it might not be
Is she
possible
the
at
sheriff
all,
or the killer?
especially with Dad, and that some families
Nobody
can't be
has
put back
confirmed
together
anything
safely.
yet.
I appreciate that he doesn't.
But I'm
give me
pretty
false
sure
hope
that
or
girl
make
over there is the
promises he
killer
can't
because I saw her
keep.
literally next to a
I
dead
set out
body.
a routine at the foster home
So,
with regular meals and school and therapy appointments.
I'm
But then Keith
trying
calls
to
tell
see
me
what's
something that makes
happening.
my stomach drop. Dad started posting rants on social media
Good?
about government overreach and CPS.
Yeah, she's definitely the killer.
sharing
Look,
his
she's
version of
standing
events
over
where
the
he's
dead
a
body.
persecuted father trying to raise healthy children naturally. He's
Yeah,
writing long posts
I'm
about how
good,
the
son.
state stole his kids for following an ancestral diet, and he's sharing photos of our garden and his nutrition books as proof that he did nothing wrong. The posts
She's
get shared in
circling.
natural living communities, and suddenly our case is being discussed online by hundreds of people who don't know the full story. They're calling us brainwashed by big agriculture and saying
Someone
Dad is a hero
please
standing
get the
up
gun.
to corporate propaganda. Reading the comments makes me feel sick because these strangers are defending someone who made us eat tire rubber and dirt, and they think they're
I'm
supporting some
jumping for
kind
the
of freedom
sheriff because
fighter.
I'm happy she
He says
did
the
it.
judge found out about the posts and issued an order requiring Dad to stop discussing the case publicly because it could compromise the court proceedings and violate our privacy. Dad takes the post down, but the damage is already done, with screenshots floating around and people arguing about our family like we're some kind of political debate. A few days later, Natalie calls and asks if Luna and I can come to her office for a meeting. And when we get there, she sits us down at a conference table with notebooks and pens. She explains that we might need to testify in court about what happened at home, and she wants to prepare us so we know what to expect. She tells us we need to stick with specific facts to the base rather than general statements like, Dad was mean, or we were always hungry. She has us practice answering questions about particular incidents, asking us to describe the grass month with details about when it started and how long it lasted. Luna and I take turns practicing, while Natalie writes down notes and asks.
Hopefully I get the gun so I can get hero. I've never got hero in my life.
Did your father also
Actually.
give you other foods? And we need to stick to the truth without getting lost.
Oh, nah. I don't feel safe around myself. It's that girl. I might get the gun. I'm gonna go over there. If he dies, I have a chance to get the gun. And if I have a chance to get the gun, then that's super good. Who has the gun? Fuck. Kill that bitch. Please. No. She bad. Girl, there's a girl behind you. There's a girl behind you. Shoot that bitch. Shoot that bitch. Please shoot that bitch. Please shoot that bitch. Please. Spam jumper. Hitting that spam. Stop jumping, yo.
And lab number.
Yep.
The building is big and official looking with metal detectors at the entrance and
Yo, why
people in
does
suits
this
walking around with
like?
green paper.
What is that
We wait in line
face,
outside the
bro?
courtroom with Natalie. And she goes over last week's reminders about
I've
staying
seen that
calm and
face so
speaking
much.
clearly.
Yeah, you and your
As I go into
face.
the courtroom, I see Dad sitting at a table
This
with
is
his
ugly
hair
as
and
fuck.
I've never seen before.
Dang.
He was calm and reasonable. Not like
You know
someone
what?
who made his kids eat
Let him
grass
cook.
and rubber.
Let him
I
cook.
realize he's been planning for this moment just like he planned everything else. The judge comes in and everyone stands up.
W
and
hero.
starts with Dad's lawyer
Sadly, I
to
can be
testify
one.
first.
I
Dad's
got
testimony
corner
is
killed.
polished and practiced as he explains his philosophy about natural eating and ancestral health, talking about how humans evolved to eat foraged foods and how modern processed foods are causing disease. He presents his documentation, the binders full of research articles and photos, and our forced essays, and talks about how he was trying to protect us from the dangers of chemicals and preservatives. I watch some people in the courtroom nodding like he makes sense, and I feel panic rising because he's so good at this performance. The social worker gets cross-examined by Dad's lawyer, who asks whether CPS overreached and whether our case really met the threshold for emergency removal, suggesting that maybe we were just a family with unusual but legal
Please.
lifestyle choices. The judge
Please,
asks pointed
no,
questions about
don't
the
give
medical
me.
evidence in the state, and I can tell she's taking this seriously, but also being careful about overstepping parental rights.
No. Why is there so many girls? I haven't seen one boy avatar except that one. Except that one. I don't know. Every other avatar? Who just died? Who died? But what happened? What happened? On purpose? Why did you just fall down? Bro, this is the longest video I've ever recorded. It's been 30 minutes. You guys are watching half an hour of this? W man for watching this. What? Thank you so much for watching this. Personal thanks to all the people who watch my videos. Come on, come here.
And I feel proud of her for being brave enough to tell the truth. When it's my turn to testify,
Anyway.
I walk to the witness stand with my notes in my pocket, and I focus on being specific and factual like Natalie taught me. I describe the timeline of escalating food restrictions, starting with the foraged weeds and moving through the beetles and tire rubber and eventually the leather and dirt. I present the envelope with the rubber pieces and my dated notes, explaining how I collected evidence.
Come
because I knew
on,
moving
give
through.
me innocent
I
again,
talked about
man.
the tire rubber
I'ma
and
do
how
it.
Dad said it was just processed tree sap from rubber trees. About how Mom would boil it for hours until it was soft enough to swallow.
Please stop following.
Dios mío, me siento tan sola. Pero es que yo no sé qué tengo que no me espanto. Necesito un novio que no aquí, que no se vea pobre, que sea millonario.
And served us the grass and beetles, and she said she was afraid to stop because Dad would get angry. She describes how he'd yell if she tried to give us regular food, and how he controlled all the money so she couldn't buy groceries.
Come
even if she
on.
wanted.
I tried to
It's not a
jump
full
because I
confession,
knew
and
it
she
was
still
coming.
tries to minimize some things, saying
And
stuff like,
MM2
"I
said,
foraged
nah, your hitbox is still down here. I jumped.
But it's the first time she's publicly acknowledged that what happened was wrong, and I feel this complicated mix of anger and sadness and relief. I'm angry that she didn't protect us sooner, sad that she was trapped too, and relieved that she's finally admitting the truth even if it's not the full truth yet. The judge steps back into the courtroom after a 20-minute recess, and everyone stands up until she sits down behind her big wooden desk. She looks at her papers for a second, and then starts reading her decision out loud in this calm voice that makes every word feel heavy and final. She says the evidence clearly shows that harm occurred to all 3 children, and that our safety requires us to stay out of the home, while our parents address the serious concerns the court has documented. Dad has to do supervised visits only with specific conditions. Mom needs parenting classes and individual therapy, and we kids have to keep getting medical monitoring to make sure we're recovering properly. The judge lists off all these requirements in this official way, and I sit there trying to process that we're actually staying in foster care, that the system is actually protecting us this time. When she finishes reading the order, I feel like I can breathe for the first time in weeks, like there's this weight that's been sitting on my chest since Noah collapsed, and it finally lifts just enough that I can take a full breath without my ribs hurting. The foster home has this dietitian who comes twice a week to work with me on eating normally again, and she's patient in a way that makes me feel less broken. She explains that my stomach has physically shrunk after years of not getting enough food, and that we need to increase my meals gradually so my body can adjust without getting sick. We start with small portions of really bland stuff like plain rice and boiled chicken, and she teaches me to pay attention to when I'm actually hungry, versus when I just feel empty from habit. The first few days I want to eat everything in sight because there's actual food available. But she shows me how to eat slowly and stop when I'm full instead of stuffing everything down like it might disappear. She gives me this chart where I track what I eat and how I eat.
Oh, that girl trying to kill me. Oh, wait, I have the gun.
I get crackers in my
You know what? I'm happy at myself that I tried. You know what? I'm happy at myself that I tried. You know what? Thank you, Lancer, for actually trying to do this.
in the cafeteria.
But can I just get Sheriff for murder straight up? Because I don't want to
I
keep,
sit down
like...
at the table with other kids and unwrap a turkey sandwich and apple slices from the lunch line, and nobody stares or asks questions or acts like it's weird. I take a bite of the sandwich, and it's soft and has mayo and lettuce and tastes like regular food, and I have to blink really hard to keep from crying right there in front of everyone. The normalcy of it hits me in this overwhelming way. Like I'm finally allowed to be a regular teenager who eats lunch with other kids instead of hiding behind dumpsters choking down grass. A girl at the table asks if I'm new, and I say I used to go here before, and that's it. The conversation just moves on to homework and weekend plans like I'm just another person. The first supervised visit with Dad happens 2 weeks after the court ruling at a CPS office with a social worker sitting in the corner taking notes. Dad sits across from me at this small table and tries to start talking about how everything he did was for our health, and how we'll understand when we're older. I interrupt him before he can get into his whole speech about natural living and corporate toxins. I tell him I don't want to discuss his reasons. I just want him to acknowledge that we were hurt by what happened. He looks at me like I've betrayed him, and starts talking about how the court doesn't understand ancestral eating, and how the medical system is wrong about nutrition. I watch him reframe everything as misunderstood parenting, and I realize he's never going to actually admit he was wrong. After 20 minutes of him making excuses, I tell the social worker I'm done with the visit, and I stand up to leave. Dad's face goes red, and he starts to say something, but the social worker tells him the visit is over. Walking out of that room makes me shake so hard I have to sit down in the hallway. But I also feel stronger because I set a boundary, and it actually got enforced. Mom visits separately the following week, and the whole conversation is different from the start. She cries as soon as she sits down and tells me she's sorry for not protecting us, and she admits she was afraid of Dad and didn't know how to leave. I don't say anything at first because I'm not ready to forgive her yet. The hurt goes too deep for that. But then she tells me she's applied for a housing voucher so she can live separately from Dad, and she's attending parenting classes twice a week at the community center. She shows me a certificate from the first class she completed and asks if we can do phone calls sometimes. I tell her maybe that I need time to figure out how I feel, but I can see she's actually trying to change instead of just making excuses. It creates this tiny opening for maybe rebuilding something eventually.
No.
Though I don't know what that would look like.
I
or if
hate
it's even
people.
possible.
Leave
The
me
case plan is
alone,
formally
yo.
written up and documented with the court about a month after the ruling. Keith, the social worker, goes over every requirement
No.
with me so I understand
I saw her
what's
pull out
supposed to
something.
happen. Dad has
She
to
either
complete
pull out a
psychological
gun or a
evaluation
knife.
and parenting
I don't know which
classes.
one.
Mom has to maintain separate housing and finish her services. And we
She
kids
pulled
have to
out a
attend
gun
therapy
or a
and
knife?
keep
I
all our
didn't see.
medical appointments. There can be no unsupervised
I just know to
contact
stay
with
away
Dad
from her.
until another court review. And Mom
Honestly,
can
you
work
stay
towards
away from
unsupervised
everyone.
visits
So what am I
and
talking
making
about?
progress.
Stay away.
Everything written down with clear expectations.
I don't want to get murdered. Get the fuck away from me. Who died? Oh, the bacon girl is the killer. Bro, get out of here.
Emotionally, and that rushing reunification would be
Get out! Okay.
and orders a review hearing in 6 months to check on everyone's progress with the case plan.
What? What is she doing?
And also not long enough. Like I want time to heal, but I'm scared of what might happen at that next hearing. Dad violates the court's social media order about 3 weeks later by posting a bunch of rants about CPS corruption and government overreach on his blog. Someone reports it to the court, and the judge holds a hearing about the violation where Dad tries to argue it's his First Amendment right to talk about his case. The judge is not having it and issues a stern warning, plus she requires him to complete the psychological evaluation within 30 days or face contempt charges. Every time Dad violates a boundary like this, I actually feel a little bit safer, because it proves the system is protecting us this time, that there are consequences when he breaks rules. I catch myself hoarding crackers in my backpack again about 2 months into foster care, and I feel so ashamed when the foster mom finds them. She doesn't yell though, she just sets up a meeting with my therapist Tanner. He explains that hoarding food is a totally normal trauma response to years of food insecurity, and that my brain is still wired for survival mode. We work on creating what he calls a safe snack plan, where I'm allowed to keep certain foods in my room but in a designated basket on my dresser, instead of hidden around the space. He helps me understand that my survival behaviors made sense when I needed them, and that they can be gently redirected rather than just stopped cold. Learning that I'm not broken or weird for hoarding food helps me be less hard on myself about it. Luna finishes an entire fruit cup at dinner one night without gagging or crying, and afterward we end up in the bathroom together brushing our teeth. She looks at me in the mirror and says it's weird to be excited about eating peaches, and we both start laughing. It's the same bathroom where we used to hide and split a bruised banana while choking down our fear, but this time we're laughing instead of crying, and the memory feels
Who
like it's
keeps
being rewritten
dying?
just a little bit. Luna does this silly dance about how good the peaches were, and I join in, and for a few minutes we're just sisters being goofy instead
Wait,
of survivors.
if she has a gun, well, that means the others all had a knife. And I walked right past her. Because she was holding something, and she's holding a gun. And so that means the other girl was holding a gun. Wait, who was So that's better.
He stands up when he sees us and walks across the room without wobbling or grabbing onto anything, and Luna starts crying immediately. I hug him carefully because I'm still scared he might break, but he hugs back hard enough that I know he's actually getting stronger. The nurse goes over his nutrition plan and physical therapy schedule with Max, while Noah shows us the folder of discharge papers that's thicker than a textbook. On the drive back to the foster house, Noah sits between Luna and me in the back seat and keeps touching his hair where it's starting to grow back in weird patchy spots. He tells us about the physical therapist who made him do exercises that felt impossible at first, but got easier every week. When we pull up to the house, Noah gets out of the car by himself and walks up the front steps, and I feel this huge wave of relief, because all 3 of us are finally together and safe in the same place. The 6-month court review happens on a cold
I got
morning in
murder.
February.
I got murder. Hell yeah. Okay, but I need to make sure I kill everyone quiet. I need everybody quiet.
Mom's report shows she secured a 1-bedroom apartment across town and completed all 12 weeks of parenting classes, plus she attended individual counseling every week.
Oh, she was the
Dad's
sheriff.
evaluation results get discussed.
So that means no one else has the gun.
Continued belief that supervised visits if she keeps making progress.
Guys.
I have a supervised visit with Dad at the CPS office, and the social worker in the corner with her clipboard. actually working to help me succeed, instead of just watching to make sure I don't die. Natalie needs me to get her office to help write a formal statement for my case file and what I want to happen with my family. She explains that the court wants to hear directly from me about in the future. I write that I don't want any contact with Dad unless he completes every single service the court orders and can prove he actually understands.
Holy I hit a double kill. Yes. Who else do I need to kill?
Regular doctor appointments to monitor our health, and a schedule for visits with Mom that gradually builds
That was
toward
good.
unsupervised time. Natalie
I
explains that
killed
it's not perfect,
all of
but
them.
it's a path forward that keeps us safe.
They all died. I slit all of their souls.
Us for as long as we need to stay. We develop actual routines like family dinner every night where everyone shares one good thing from their day. Friday nights become movie nights where we take turns picking what to watch, and Max makes popcorn with real butter. There's a chore chart on the refrigerator
what a
that treats
trade.
us like capable people who can contribute instead of like victims who need to be handled carefully. Having this predictable
I wanna
structure with
trade.
adults who are consistent and kind
I want to
starts to
trade.
feel normal in a way I didn't think was possible. 6 months later, we were back in court for another review hearing, and the judge goes through everyone's progress reports. She says all 3 of us kids have gained healthy weight. Results show our vitamin levels are finally in normal ranges. Mom's report shows she's kept her apartment and her job at the grocery store for 8 full months, and she hasn't missed any therapy.
Dude, who is that
His report
small?
says he completed some of the required services, but the therapist's notes show he still minimizes what he did and hasn't earned back any visitation rights. The judge extends the custody order for another 6 months and lists
It's
out
her.
specific things that need to happen
It's her.
before she'll consider any placement changes. She sets exact review dates so everyone knows the timeline. After
It's
court, we
her.
go back to the foster house, and Max's wife makes simple turkey sandwiches.
She
for
killing
lunch.
everybody.
I sit around the kitchen table and I bite into my sandwich and taste the normal bread and turkey and mayonnaise. My phone buzzes in my pocket and I pull it out to see a text from Mom.
She killing them all.
For a bigger 2-bedroom apartment that can have space for visits eventually. I read the message and take another bite of my sandwich and realize I'm chewing without counting how many times.
Dude.
I'm breathing without planning my next move to stay safe. I'm existing without the constant fear that's been my normal for years. Noah is telling me that I'm physical therapy appointment.
My first hero win.
That is the grand conclusion.
What?
I have questions, but also respect.
Dude.
You might as well subscribe because you are clearly committed to this nonsense. See you in the next disaster. My boyfriend snapped and demanded I be more feminine. He had no idea how far I could take it.
Yeah.
Jaden constantly accused me of acting like a man because I wore jeans and didn't always have nail polish on. He'd compare me to his ex who wore heels everywhere and never raised her voice above a whisper. When I got promoted at work, he sulked for weeks saying I only got it because I acted like a dude. After I fixed our sink myself, he exploded. You need to start acting like an actual woman, he said. Be feminine for once instead of stomping around like a dyke. How am I supposed to screw someone who's basically a guy? I set down my wrench and smiled sweetly. You want feminine? I can do that. The next morning, I spent 4 hours getting ready for his family brunch, curling every eyelash and redoing my nails 3 times because the color wasn't perfectly feminine. Jaden had to arrive without me and explain to his mother why I needed so much time to look presentable for them, which she took as him criticizing my appearance. When I finally arrived looking like a queen, his mom pulled me aside to ask if Jaden was making me feel ugly. I started speaking in a soft baby voice and acting terrified of everything masculine, which meant Jaden had to handle all the scary stuff like talking to the parents, dealing with our landlord, and even ordering pizza because phone calls were too aggressive for delicate women. I was scared. Act terrified was too disturbing. At his company barbecue, I wore heels so high I needed Jaden's arm constantly, clinging to him and gasping whenever a man came near because strange men were intimidating. His female co-workers watched him basically holding me up all day and started whispering about what kind of relationship we had. When his boss tried to shake my hand, I hid behind Jaden and whispered that touching strange men wasn't appropriate, making his boss think Jaden had trained me to fear other men. HR actually pulled Jaden aside later to ask if they needed to be concerned about his
I just saw him with the
I
knife.
refused
He
to
had
do
the
anything
knife
because
out. I
operating
walked. I
heavy machinery wasn't
bumped into his chest.
So Jaden had
He
to
didn't
go
kill me.
everywhere, including my job,
That's
my
a
friends'
W
houses,
man's right
and
there.
the gym at 5 a.m. before his own workout. He was constantly exhausted from being my chauffeur, missing his
It's
own
been
friends to pick him
50
up,
minutes
while
of
his
this.
friends mocked him for dating someone who
We're doing a 1 hour recording. Yeah. I just saw my friend. Okay, so two major things that I saw just now. I saw my friend that I do mukbangs with in Dodge Club, right? And then I also saw them backshotting. You know what? I'm gonna say
while
eel.
glaring at Jaden for not taking better care of such a delicate flower. The guy at the
I gotta
coffee
say
shop started
eel
writing
because
poetry
he
on
was
my cups.
backshotting.
The trainer at the gym offered free sessions, and our neighbor Kyle started showing up whenever I needed help with anything Jaden was too tired to handle. Kyle actually told Jaden to his face that real men cherish feminine women instead of exhausting them. Things escalated when I refused to
I'm waiting. You guys wanna fight?
Jaden had turned me into some kind of submissive robot. The promotion went to Kyle, who spent the entire dinner fetching me drinks and complimenting how refreshingly feminine I was, while Jaden sat there seething. Kyle
Chill.
pulled out my chair and helped me with my coat, pointedly saying men should treasure feminine women, not burden them. Sunday morning, Jaden was raving about losing another promotion because of my psycho-feminine act. This has ruined everything. He screamed.
I need to hide in the truck.
It's not an act. Me from my controlling boyfriend. I watched Jaden's face go white as he realized other men were actively trying to save me from him. Kyle asked me to dinner, I mentioned casually, but honestly, I'm thinking about just being single and dropping this whole feminine act he demanded. I stood up delicately, careful not to smudge my nail art, and smiled. Turns out I have a lot of options now that everyone thinks you're an abusive controller who broke me. Jaden went very quiet. And
Yes. Hey. Oh wait, you can't see my legs. Don't.
Jaden's eyes went cold as he walked over to his laptop on the coffee table and started standing. My stomach dropped when he turned the screen toward me, and there was a folder labeled with my name and today's date. He clicked it open, and dozens of files filled the screen. He'd been documenting everything too, just like I'd been playing my game. Screenshots of my transformation filled the screen, showing me before and after and side-by-side comparisons. There were recordings too, and he clicked on one where I was talking normally on the phone when I thought he wasn't home. The timestamps went back weeks, showing he'd been planning this for a while. He scrolled down and clicked on a video of me laughing with Kyle at the coffee shop, looking completely normal and not scared at all. I kept my voice sweet and confused, tilting my head and asking what all this meant while my mind raced through what he might do with this evidence. He closed the laptop with a sharp click and said we needed to have a real conversation about consequences. I giggled nervously and said I didn't understand what he meant, but he just stared at me with those cold eyes. That night I barely slept, lying still in bed and listening for any sound from his side of the apartment. Every time he shifted or got up to use the bathroom, my whole body went tense. Around 3 in the morning, I quietly got up and packed an emergency bag with my passport,
Open the door.
I'd been hiding, and a change of clothes. I hid it behind my ridiculous collection of pink throw pillows.
Who
in the
closed the
closet where
door?
he'd never look. Monday morning came too fast, and I maintained the act perfectly
Alright,
while making
I'm
breakfast,
done.
wearing my
I'm
favorite
done.
print and
Frick
humming
this, I'm
softly.
done.
But I noticed Jaden watching me
I'm
differently
done.
now.